Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 63 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Enjoy. Let's copy it down to the blueprint book. And I don't have any extra blueprints, but I don't think we're going to need this solar panel blueprint, the 100% efficiency one, since we've basically committed to using the square design. So we can just use this standard blueprint and just pick this up so I don't have to make it again. And happy robots, get to it. So where are we going to do this processing at? We need easy access to water, and it should probably be out of the way because this is a fairly low priority process. We're not going to be bussing any of these bricks. They're just basically going to be used for hand construction of certain machines and also some clay paths we might build. So honestly, this area is pretty out in the middle of nowhere right here, kind of near where we're at. It's pretty open right here. It's out of the way. It's got easy access to water. That seems pretty good to me. So let's see. Careful not to pick up anything too important. Let's go with that. Work, 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 happy robots. Okay, and this isn't the permanent spot for it, we just need somewhere to put it so we can continue to work on the design. So how about right there? Let's move this out of the way. So before we continue, we need to get this thing basically all set up properly. Connect all the pipes together, so just as a placeholder, the viscous mud water, gotta make sure I say it correctly, it comes in through here, gets processed down that chain. And then we have the regular water that just comes from an offshore pump. You see, this is pretty compacted. We could have more space by spacing these machines out, or we could leave them at their current orientation. Oops, we need the correct pipes here. If we take these pipes and move them out here somewhere, I'm just going to put it there. That's not the final spot, but I'm using them as a placeholder. Each one of these washing plants is going to be producing a product that we need. So how to do it? You see that limestone is only part of the processing. We actually need lime, and lime is made in a standard furnace. Blast furnace. So let's create a blast furnace right here and say make lime. Let's see, this one does 3 limestone every 5 seconds times 1.5 for the machine speeds. That's 0.9, so we're going to need a red to get in there. It's possible that perhaps these machines are indeed squished too close together. I might be trying to get too cute with the design. Well, no, I think we can make it work. Yeah, it'll work. So, this is also 3 clay every 5 seconds, which is similar to the 3 limestone every 5 seconds. And this one actually makes 5 sand every 5 seconds. That one's going to need a blue. And let's do nearsighted for this side. Let's have this go here. Well, if we space this apart, we can just have this belt come here. So we can put this back, and then turn this into a long-handed inserter. So on the near side of the belt, we're going to be putting clay. And then on the far side of the belt, we're going to be putting sand. And then on this belt, we can put our processed limestone. Put it right there. That seems pretty good. And actually, perhaps this positioning will work well, oops, with these pipes. Because we can move the pipes up like this, and then connect them like this. And we don't need these anymore. So it's a little complicated, but I believe that is all of the regular water that's being inserted. This still needs fuel, and we still need to get the carbon dioxide out. But it's looking pretty good. So these machines over here are going to be producing mud. So we need to get rid of the mud. So we can use a basic inserter for this. Let's say regular, and then near side. Since processing seems to be going up, I guess I will move this belt up as well. Kind of the last thing before we go further is whether or not we can power all that stuff with electricity, since it's all so close together. We can kind of get rid of this right here and... Will it reach? Put that? Yes. So let's connect some power temporarily to this. Just to see if it'll work. So let's put a pole right there. And then perhaps above on this one, above on that one, and above on that one. Okay. No electricity failures. Alright, I'm going to put a stone pipe here just to mark that we have an output of carbon dioxide that we need to take care of. But for now, let's keep moving forward. The next step is we need to take those basic products and assemble them into the unburnt clay brick. So the question is, how many assembly machines do we need to max out all of this stuff here? Well, we're producing 3 clay and 3 limestone every 5 seconds. So 3 every 5 is 0.6, and they run at a speed of 1.5. So that's 0.9 per second. How much does one assembling machine need? Well, it needs 4 clay, which is probably going to be the limiting factor. So 4 clay every 4 seconds is 1 per second, but at a speed of 0.75 is 0.75. So I believe 1 machine will be enough. That the limiting factor is the clay, because we're only going to be producing 0.9, and 1 machine needs 0.75. It's possible we might be able to double up here. The limiting factor is the clay. Because sand, we actually produce 5 sand every 5 seconds. We produce more sand than the others. So if we doubled our production of clay, it would match lime. Can we do that easily? Actually, now that I think about it, I might have a solution for this. It's a little messy, but it might get the job done well enough. So if we put the second machine here and rotate it so its water hookup matches the other one, then we just need to deal with this input right here. And technically it has to come from over there, but we can do that. We put an underground here. Can this cross this entire distance? It can. Okay. What about one more over? Yes. So that gets the water all the way to the other side. And then these undergrounds keep the mud flowing. And now, the last bit. It's just barely enough room for an inserter. It needs to be the same nearsighted inserter. And we're going to have to put an underground immediately right here. Or maybe not. Can this go over here? It can. Because I just don't like the belts being too squished, even though this technically makes the setup slightly bigger. And then we need another power pole right there, and then kind of connect everything together. There we go. So now we're going to be producing twice as much clay per second. So it's going to be 6 clay every 5 seconds times 1.5. So 1.8 clay per second. So the clay is going to be matched with the limestone. And also our water usage is almost maximum. You see this takes 30 water, which is 60, then 80, and then 90. So we're using almost all of the water output right here. And we'll be producing 1.8 clay per second. And this machine requires 0.75 clay per second. So we're actually going to need 3 of them to max out the output. I'm not sure what exactly the limiting factor is going to be, whether it's sand or clay. It's probably going to be sand, but let's put it all together and see how it works. So we've calculated that we need 3 assembly machines. Yeah, I was thinking, should I do all of the math related to this? And I'm like, well, I'll probably mess something up. This might be an example of just placing everything down and seeing how it works. Yeah, something like this. The reason is because we're going to need fuel for the blast furnace. So it'd be a little cleaner to have fuel stay on this side rather than have to jump to this other side right here. Okay. Unburnt clay bricks. What kind of inserters are we going to need? Well, clay and sand are going to be on the same belt, so that inserter needs to do 6 units every 4 seconds times 0.75, so that's 1.125. So that's just barely, but a red can get the job done. And that's going to be on the far side. Let's put those right here, right here, and right here. And then on the near side, it only needs to do lime. So 2 lime every 4 seconds times 0.75 is only 0.375, so a yellow. So yellow, yellow, and yellow. And then the output. I kind of want to performance test this before we place the furnaces down to cook these into the finished bricks, because the number of furnaces we're going to need is kind of dependent on if we could run all 3 of these machines or not, or if I did the math wrong somewhere. Now, let's calculate it anyway and assume that I was correct. I believe it was 2.4 of these machines were going to be powered. Something like that. Let's assume 2.5. So if we're getting 4 bricks every 4 seconds times 0.75, and then times 2.5 machines means we need to handle 1.875 bricks per second. So I believe we need some stone to make our steel furnace. So a steel furnace runs at a rate of 2. And it produces, it looks like, 1 clay brick a second. So actually, 1 steel furnace will work, so that's easy enough. So we can combine all that stuff. Then put a furnace at the point of combination. And 1 yellow for each side, and then, or 1 red for each side. And I believe we barely need a yellow for this. Something like that. And then this machine is going to be outputting the final product. Now, one thing to note is that these clay bricks actually stack in units of 1,000, not 200 or 100 or whatever, but 1,000. So this machine's going to hold 1,000 by itself, so you want to be careful about how many stacks you're willing to have. And since they are essentially free, the only thing they require is electricity to produce, I'm willing to make 4 stacks, because we actually kind of do use these bricks for quite a bit of stuff. But you don't want like a full chest full of these. It's just going to be way too many. So let's get some power poles in here. Seems pretty good. And then the fuel, I'm going to come in through here. And there's the fuel for this side. And put another pole. Alright, so that's the fuel, needs to come in through there. We have the carbon dioxide. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. So, I kind of want it to run side by side, the belt, just to make it as compact as possible, but we can't really do that with that splitter there. So if we put it down here, we can put it there and have an underground right there. And then we have our stone pipe output. Okay. Anything else? Let's see. It looks like it's just the mud we have to take care of. I believe the mud machine actually produces it very quickly, and we're only going to need 1 machine. Where is the landfill? There we go. So, it's 25 mud every 5 seconds. So 5 mud a second, but at a speed of 0.75, which is 3.75. And how much mud is actually going to be coming down? Well, each one of these machines is only going to be producing about 1.5 mud every 5 seconds. So 1.5 mud every 5 seconds is 0.3, and we have 4 machines. So that's only 1.2, so nowhere close to maxing that machine out. Nonetheless, I'll put enough inserters on here to max it out, which I believe is 2 blues. So let's put it there. The chest at the top. Yeah, and that's going to be really slow output since it's 25 mud goes in and only 1 landfill comes out. And no limiting factor needed. And the last bit is lights. Well, can't really put them there. One right there. And 1 right there. And maybe 1 right there. Maybe that'll be enough. That's all the time we have for today. On part 3 of clay bricks, we'll hook it up and see how it works. I'll see you then.